Our intro would not pull up.
Hey guys,
Hey
how
guys.
you doing? We just decided to have all the, technical problems we could possibly have tonight.
Nice.
I know. I was like, why will it not play?
Well,
so sorry about that.
It played once for me. I don't know, but we got it now. Hey
But there
everybody.
was 3 things. So hey everybody, sorry about the troubles.
What's happening? Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, thank you for covering
Albert
Shane.
Fish is already messing with us. So.
Yeah, there you go. Because he was. The more I read about him, the more I think.
Yeah.
I think
him's one of those guys
you
just want to throw up a little in your mouth. So that's
Yes.
Hard to believe that this guy. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That he existed. I mean, what kind of? All right. So
let's start from the beginning.
Let's paint the picture. Let's start from the top.
There you go.
First of all, thank you for watching. This is going to be a very crazy show.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and throw up the banner about the disclaimer because
we're
talking about some crazy stuff. First of all, you guys will see my hat. It says smile a little. So as we talk about these negative things and these crazy, creepy people, I want you to, hey, Stacia, my sweet love. I want you guys to remember that love is the most powerful energy and it can conquer anything. And lots of times these people, these killers, these serial killers and murderers are made because they did not get a little smile or love in their life. There's something off. Not every one of them has that excuse, of course. I mean, we just talked about the guy that's in the news. That crazy
Ryan Koberger. Yeah,
Koberger.
That was last week.
He had a great family, and his family tailored to everything about him. And his sister becoming a counselor and his mother being a special ed teacher, both of them knowing quite well what his mental limitations were and trying to help cater to his needs. But tonight, we've got probably the most prolific. Okay, I think, because it involves
probably the most sadistic.
Yes.
And this is one of those cases, psychological wise, where it's environmental and biological, a mix of those, of why he probably became the way he was. But
well, it's freaky.
Yeah.
What year was it? Can you set the stage for us? What in the world is the date?
So he was born, I think, what was it? May 19th, 1870. So we're talking, of course, your book is out, Lee, the Victorian times. So we know the Victorian era ended in 1901. And,
thank you for writing the foreword.
Yeah. But also, we're talking about serial killers tonight in Supernatural. But our friends Danny and Lauren wrote the foreword to their book, and it was also dedicated to you, Lee. So there we go.
I know.
That goes
that made me smile so much.
I
would show your book, but my last event I sold out, so I don't have any of your books. I got to get more. So they went really
I'm
quick.
gonna throw out there shamelessly that Danny and Lauren are coming to the channel, and I'm excited.
Nice.
Yes.
I've got to get with them and get the details because everybody knows I'm on a little walkabout. So
yes,
a little bit.
Give us a little bit of a heads up. What's going on? What have you been doing?
Okay, so started in Wisconsin on the Stockbridge Muncie reservation. We started there, and we went to Chicago, or the outskirts of Chicago, and investigated a location. And it was a church that used to be a funeral home. We did that. We stayed for a night, and then we went to, Lord, where did we go to next? We had car trouble, of course, on any walkabout, on any car trip. We ended up going to Ohio, Defiance, Ohio, and we got to be with the people who were doing the Travelers World Gate project on JD Prather, or Prather, if I say it wrong, JW, not JD, JW, Lord, and Austin Maynard. Yep, JW. We're all tired, as he knows. He probably just got home a few minutes ago. He lives in Maine. Those and some wonderful other people. It was an awesome experience. And then we also, during the middle, we left for half a day and went to Eloise in, Lord, Michigan. Yes. The Eloise mental, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't know if it was asylum, but it was definitely a mental institution. 5 Stories High.
Mental gets asylum after it, but who knows?
Yeah. The 5 stories, we went up. I did a Estes method in the tub, of course, because, I'm just weird like that. They used to do the gloriously. Thank you for adding that. But we did that. We've seen friends. We've made new ones, some old ones too. I got to see Ron and Lourdes, Ron Yacovetti, Lourdes Gonzalez.
Some of my favorite people.
I jumped like a child when I found out they were there. I went, so thanks for them. But yeah, everybody was great. And then we are actually in Kentucky now. I can't even remember it, something caves, but I'll be posting about that. We're going to go out. We needed a day of rest because we were absolutely wiped out. So after this, I'm going to get as much sleep as possible, and then we're going to go adventuring tomorrow. And we've got some leads. So you guys tune in, and I will tell you more details and put more videos. And thanks for everybody for supporting. And of course, Lee, who's one of our biggest supporters, Thomas, always. Matt, also thank you, because I know he may be listening. He at least is there. Rez and I are having an adventure, and we will be down to South Carolina soon as we can, but I don't have a date because we don't know what's coming up. There's a lot of, actually, in this little bitty, that place that I was drawn to for whatever reason, there's a lot of locations. Just going to a couple stores, they told us about 10 things. So we're going to go check it out, maybe tonight and then definitely tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for listening. Lee, thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah, I'm so proud. And I watch all of your lives. Everybody, please do what you can to support these guys. If you want to put some money in the tip jar, I'll put my QR code up, and I'll make sure I get it over to, this little gallivanting party that they're doing. I'm so proud. Oh, and Tom,
Oh, hey, Luna. It's the Luna Show. Hey, Luna.
Hey, everybody.
Luna. Did you hear my voice, Luna?
She did.
Yes.
Yeah,
she remembers.
Here's Gwen's too.
Hey, baby girl, my niece. I love you.
Yeah.
Well, here is a picture of Albert Fish. Okay.
See, yes.
And you see that stoic face and broken eyes. There's a reason for all of that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So we have more announcements, but as of right now, let's just go ahead and go into this. I'll talk a little bit more about my books and what we have coming up, but we'll do that in a minute. So I tried to go with his childhood first.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. 1870 in Washington, D.C. He was 7th of 8 kids.
Yeah.
The family was in terrible poverty, and they were there's mental instability. His father was much older than the mother, and when his dad died, Albert was only 5. Yeah. So that left the family without any financial stability or emotional support. Several relatives suffered from mental illness, which may have contributed to later on to his psychological problems. So we're looking at poverty, an impoverished life that has mental instability, probably insanity of some kind. All right. So we got a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, because his mother couldn't care for him, Fish was placed in St. John's orphanage. And of course, there's abuse there because, think of the times. This is where he endured frequent physical abuse from both the caretakers and the older boys. Instead of deterring him, the beatings became associated with pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he wanted so much to be loved that somehow his mind got twisted up. So he's a masochist.
Yeah.
Okay. At the age of 12, he began. Okay, hold on. Let me get the banner. Let's see. Wait. Okay, it's not just graphic. We're not doing graphic photos. Let's say graphic content.
There you go.
All right, because this is a mess we got here. Okay, graphic content. Please, either plug your ears or turn the channel or whatever it is you need to do if you're not interested in this. All right. By the age of 12, Fish began engaging in extreme sexual behaviors. Okay, including arousal from urine, arousal from feces, being a voyeur. Okay. And he often visited public baths to watch young boys undress, showing signs of early pedophilia. Holy crap. We really picked one tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take this down so I could read the last sentence, okay? In addition to those behaviors, Fish developed a pattern of self-harm. He pierced his body with needles. He whipped himself and engaged in other forms of extreme punishment, acts of masochism and sexual deviance combined with trauma he experienced at the orphanage and with his unstable family environment created a very disturbed psyche. All right, let me pull this down. Please help us with digesting this. What in the hell?
Yeah. Well, you're looking at two things again. You're looking at the biological with the family. There was at least 7 close family members that were had psychiatric issues, mental issues. One schizophrenia. 2 of them actually were in mental institutions for so long they passed away there. So that means they weren't able to go back out in public. So those are extreme. Even his mother had visual and auditory hallucinations. The father, I guess there wasn't anything said about him, but he was a boat captain. But the father was 75 years old when he fathered
what?
Albert Fish. He was 75.
He was a lot older than the mother.
I wasn't aware
34,
of that.
30, yeah, 34, 35 years older than the mom. But a lot of people don't know is Albert Fish. Albert's not his real name. His actual name is Hamilton Howard Fish. The reason why he changed his name to Albert is one of his siblings passed away, and he took the name Albert because of it. But the kids in the orphanage are making fun of him, calling him ham and eggs, over and over again. He's like, I don't want to be called ham and eggs anymore. So he had his name changed to Albert. But again, another thing we talk about our psychological triad, because of all the abuse that he was receiving at this place, he got to the point where he was beaten so much he started enjoying it. But he also enjoyed watching the other boys get their butts beat too. That turned him on also. So this is where it's kind of stemming with that type of care and what it does to these kids. Even with him with that biological, he's starting to get the environmental things that are starting to hit him. I think a lot of it when he started, beating himself with a cat of 9 tails, and he had a paddle that had nails on it, and just sticking the pins in them. And peakism is what it's called. So this guy had so many isms going on, masochism, any sexual ism you could think of, he was taking part in, to the point where he met the telegraph boy who showed him that, hey, it's fun to drink urine and eat your own feces and all that. So it's disgusting. And that became a sexual arousal for him. So anything that he got into, but he was still wet in the bed at the age between 11 and 12 when a lot of this was going on. So there's that, going on too. We talked about the triad, there was nothing about him hurting animals or anything like that or setting fires, but still the going past that point, there is a psychological problem when you're urinating the bed after a certain age. So there's things falling apart. But you know, the mom putting him in the home, him being there, him coming out worse than going in. His mom ended up getting a government job and took him out of the orphanage. But at that point, you know, that's still in his childhood. So a lot of this stuff was already developed. You learn that stuff at such a young age, it never goes away. But a point I want to get to is we're talking about Albert Fish, but I want to talk about my days in a psychiatric prison. And I had an inmate in our what we call Charlie dorm. That's where a lot of the pedophile type people in prison were kept away from everybody else, so there wasn't problems. So I had this one person would clean my office, and you get to know these people, and they never really tell you what they did, but you know, you kind of figure out. But I had left the prison and retired, come back to Connecticut, and at the time, a friend of mine was in the hospital, so I was kind of visiting and, you know, waiting around. And there was Hartford Current, which is one of the oldest papers and still in existence. And in there on the front cover is the guy that used to clean my office. I'm like, how is this guy from Florida in Connecticut on this paper? So, of course, I buy it and I'm reading it. He was a probation officer in Connecticut. They sent him down to Florida, so he was away because he was known. So they sent him down there on Interstate Commerce Act and all that. But he had molested over 100 boys.
Oh my God.
Now, the reason why he was in the news was because some of these kids he molested at that age ended up becoming molesters themselves as they got older. So that was their defense. You know, what happens to you at a young age and what you learn environmentally, you know, some people, not everybody, but comes to that age and they end up doing the same thing. And I think that's what Albert Fish, being beaten like that and enjoying it and having these influenced kids like unsupervised, showing them how to drink urine and feces and watching younger boys about his age undressing, and these arousals are coming to him to the point where we're going to get to is his younger years and how he came into New York. But I didn't know if you had anything else to say about it, Lee. But
I do. Okay, let's see. Okay. He had deviant behavior that was escalating with psychological disturbances. Fish spent much of his adolescence in orphanages or boarding situations, experiencing ongoing neglect and abuse. He was physically beaten by caretakers or older boys, reinforcing his masochist tendencies. His social interactions were limited, contributing to the emotional detachment and isolation. And then there's sexual deviance, obviously. We talked about that. But these activities, let me take that banner down again, because were often secretive, solitary, that created a pattern of deviance combined with secrecy and guilt. So that's discussing a bit. We talked about that one. All right, let's run over here to this one. Okay, so the crimes are modus of operandi. So his MO.
Exactly.
He targeted children between the ages of 4 years old and 10. He was known for abduction, sexual assault, torture, and murder, sometimes engaging in cannibalism of his victims. Okay, hold on. We got to throw that banner up. Y'all, just going to have to stick with me, or you're going to have to. All right. He was known for cannibalism. He sent taunting letters to the families of his victims, describing the crimes in horrific detail. One famous letter was sent to the mother of Grace Budd, a 10-year-old girl he murdered in 1928. Fish had a pattern of sadomasochism, both self-inflicted and inflicting on others, and he reportedly pierced his own body with needles, whipped himself, and engaged in other extreme sexual practices. And then he's remembered as one of America's most horrifying serial killers. His crimes were often cited in studies of psychopathy, sexual sadism, and extreme pedophilia.
Yeah. Now, this guy had every nickname you can think of, and how people described him, you know, the one woman who was the mother of Francis McDonald, one of the proven murders, called him the Gray Man. So when she saw him, his hands were like moving, and he called him the Gray Man. He was also called the Werewolf of Wisteria, the Brooklyn Vampire, Moon Maniac, and then the Boogeyman, because they talked about his abduction. So the abduction happened with Billy Gatney, who was only 4. So he was playing with another boy, and when people asked the other boy, where did Billy go? Said the Boogeyman took him. So, and that's where that comes in, and how they described him at that time, for that time period, to call somebody the Boogeyman, and that lore of the Boogeyman all those years, even to this day, and what we call what's under our bed, what's in our closet. That's how people describe that trauma. They put the name to it. But with that, his teenage years, he became a male prostitute. And he met a lot of people along the way. And one of these people that he met, they went to this art type of thing, and there was a picture of a penis cut in half. So it was like, how they do the sexual, just mess up their organs and all that. And he got to the point where, even with the pins he would stick in himself, the other things he would do was he would take a piece of wool, put lighter fluid on it, and stick it inside of his rectum and light it on fire. And this supposedly turned him on. So these are things that he's doing. He's amping up. And then he met this guy. He met this guy named
no shit.
Yeah, the guy's name was Tom. Unfortunately, I had my name, but this guy was kind of developmentally slow, and he took him out to this place, and they were practicing the sadomasochism together, but it turned bad. They were in this place for 2 weeks, and he just tortured this man, cut part of his penis off, and all these torturous things he did to him. And he was planning on killing him, but decided not to. So he just, put some peroxide and some Vaseline on him, wrapped him up, and left him there. So he never heard from him again, Albert Fish said when he was arrested, talking about it. Never heard from him again, never know what happened to him. So we don't know if he died or not from those injuries that he received in that torture, but that's a possibility. And, when people get like that, when they murder a lot of people, we all know some of the serial killers will say they killed a lot of people, but, he claimed to have killed over 100 people. They thought he might have done 10, but they only proved 3 of them. And those are the names I said already. That was the Francis McDonald, the Billy Gatney, and the Grace Budd. So Grace Budd was probably her murder years later, what led to his arrest. It is because of that letter that he sent taunting to Grace Budd's mother. And
I'm trying to get the letter right now.
That letter is very disturbing, so you want to keep up the warning graphic content, because I'm reading that letter. You think about it, we all have kids, and I can't imagine, my child, the age she was at the time. They're talking about she might have been 8. Some say she was 9. Nobody really gave the right age. I don't really know. But actually, Grace Budd's brother, Edward, was the one that Albert Fish was going to take. He says he was going to hire him to do some work at his farm. But when he got there, he realized Edward's just too old for him. So he fell in love with Grace, and she'd come over. She, liked him, sat on his lap, gave him a kiss, being a nice girl and all that. So he made up a story that there was a party for all these other young people that he had to be at, and asked the family if he could take her so she could enjoy the party. So we all know what happens after that. He takes her to this farmhouse, and she's outside picking flowers, and he's upstairs preparing. He had a thing, what he called, if I want to get this right, his tools of hell. So he had like a nail-studded paddle. He had a cleaver. He had a cat o' nine tails. He had a handsaw, and he had these all wrapped up in this thing. But when they were getting there, he forgot the stuff in the car, and she actually brought it up to him. She didn't realize what it was, and those are the things he used to torture her. Oh. And unfortunately,
I read that.
Yeah, he cut her head off, and all this, cut her up, and used, as he claims, part of the meat and ate her, and spent many, many days there until he consumed everything. And
okay, and here she is.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah, pretty young girl, and that's tragic. And yeah, I don't. Oh. I know there's a lot of crazy people out there. Always got to be careful, but man, back then, you don't have what we have now. We don't have the psychological look at people, especially somebody like Albert Fish, knowing what biologically was going on with him, knowing what tendencies he was showing. That somebody with more of an eye for that nowadays probably could have helped him avoid that. But
yeah,
that's what we run into. We're talking about, late 1800s, early 1900s, and we just didn't have anything like that. Because you have even H.H. Holmes, this guy Albert Fish.
I actually feel nauseated with this one.
Yeah.
So here are the detectives at one of the dumping spots. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the warning down, and I'll put it back up as needed. Yeah. That's them trying to figure out what's going on at the scene of someone's burial spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the newspaper. I couldn't get a better picture. I'm sorry. Arrested for kidnapping. This is about Fish. And then they describe the young girl. This is the actual letter, but I cannot read that. I'm working really hard to get the letter.
Yeah, you don't want to read it. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't read it because he taunts the mother, that he talks about how he became a cannibal, how he learned this from a friend of his that was in China at the time where there was a famine, and they would kill young kids and use the meat in the stores to make sure everybody stayed fed. So this is the story that he told. Who knows if it was true? Nobody could really track that down. But he said the best part was the ass. All right.
I see that. Okay.
He said it was sweet and all that. And he taunted the mother, saying her ass was so good that when I ate it and cooked it, and described how he cooked it, what he put on it, what he ate it with. And, but he says, I didn't sexually assault her. Yeah, and I think the reason why was when he was strangling her, he was so turned on by it that he told the police that he ejaculated twice and wasn't ready to go again, and just killed her. So that's why he never sexually assaulted her like he wanted to. So,
okay, let's
he was so turned on. It's nuts. Yeah, you're graphic content, but sometimes you gotta go graphic like that to appall people, so they can look out for these things, what people are doing, and what they're part of. And
all right, so this is what he did to himself. This is his pelvis X-ray. I'm going to take the thing down so you can see the needles that he has actually put in himself, and you can't get those out, and so they just go deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Perforating, I'm sure, organs and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I was able to get the letter.
It's not good.
No. Yeah. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to try to put it up there. I might have to go to another screen to actually read it because it's so small. Dear Ms. Budd, in 1894, a friend of mine shipped as a deckhand on the steamer Tacoma, Captain John Davis. They sailed from San Francisco to Hong Kong, China. On arriving there, he and two others went ashore and got drunk. When they turned, the boat was gone. At that time, there was a famine in China, and meat of any kind was $1 to $3 per pound. So great was the suffering among the very poor that all children under 12 were sold for food in order to keep the others from starving. A boy or girl under 14 was not safe in the street. You could go to any shop and ask for steak chops or stew meat. Part of the naked boy or girl would be brought out in just what you wanted to cut from it, or a girl's behind, which is the sweetest part of the body and sold as veal cutlet, brought the highest price. John said there was so long he required a taste for human flesh. On his return to New York, he stole 2 boys, 1 7 and 1 11, took them to his home, stripped them naked, tied them in a closet, then burned everything they had on several times every day and night, and then spanked them and tortured them to make them good and tender. He killed the 11-year-old boy because he had the fattest ass, and of course the most meat on it. Every part of the body was cooked and eaten except the head, bones, and guts. He was roasted in the oven, all of his ass, boiled, fried, and stewed. The little boy was next and went the same way. At that time, I was living at 409 East 100th Street, near right side. He told me so often how good human flesh was, I made up my mind to taste it. On Sunday, June the 3rd, 1928, I called on you at 406 West 15th Street, brought you pot cheese, strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her on the pretense of taking her to a party. You said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Westchester I'd already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wildflowers. I went upstairs and stripped all my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood all over them. When all was ready, I went to the window and called her, and then I hid in the closet until she was in the room. When she saw me all naked, she began to cry and tried to run down the stairs. I grabbed her, and she said she would tell Mama. First, I stripped her naked, and how she kicked and bit and scratched, and I choked her to death. And then I cut her in small pieces so I could take her meat to my room. I cooked and ate her. How sweet and tender was her little ass. Was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. But I did not blank her. I wish I could. She died a virgin.
Yep. And that's the early 1900s, how graphic that is. Where does somebody learn to write like that?
He has nothing.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord, William, yes. What makes anyone think that these serial killers are completely human and not under outside control? Did you know that human fat sells for around $36,000 per couple 100 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
You can find correlation between your subject tonight and the face eater alien phenomena in South America.
Yeah.
Thank you, William. William, I appreciate you following the show.
Yeah.
I respect his research.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things when he was in Sing Sing for grand larceny at the time, when he came out, his mother arranged a marriage for him.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, Anne Mary Hoffman. And in that arranged marriage, he had 6 children. So a lot of times you would think he's killing all these kids. What did he do to his own kids? He didn't touch any of his kids. There was no record of him doing anything to his kids. But because of his sadomasochism, he would play a game with his kids. He'd pretend to be like a horse, and he told them to ask him questions. If he got it wrong, they had to paddle him to make the horse go. So he said I'd always answer wrong, so my own kids would paddle me and give me my sexual arousal. So basically, he was really sexually assaulting him in a way, indirectly. But still, he was using his own kids to get off, and that's disgusting. So that's another part of his life. Of course, the woman left him for one of the boarders that lived in the house. And so Albert was left to raise his 6 children by himself. So you think about everything we talked about tonight. How would you like to be raised by that guy? It's just unbelievable. I don't know really what happened to the kids. I couldn't really find something in the research of what they grew up to be.
Hope not serial killers.
No, they kind of hid it. He hid it from them. It's so weird, but somebody like that would nonchalantly just eat another child, and his children, I don't know, maybe they grew up normal. I don't know. There's still that biological history in the family of mental health issues. But this is such one of those big ass onions that you're trying to peel apart.
Right.
Again, this guy, everything happened to him.
Well,
everything.
This is what he said when he found out that he was going to be electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
What a thrill it will be if I have to die in the electric chair.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that's his ultimate thing.
I wonder if he had any fear of death at all. I mean, where he would go. I mean,
I don't think so.
There was some lore about when he was electrocuted because of all the pins that were in his pelvis, that it only took like 2 shocks to kill him. But they proved that that didn't happen, but that became lore that because of all the metal in him made him like die quicker. But I don't think that's what it was from what they say after doing studies about it. But because of the letter that was sent to Grace Budd's mother, it came in an envelope and there was a specific watermark on it. So they tracked it back to this business and all that, and the janitor or something that was there said he took them from like a halfway type of house. So they go to this house and find out that the last guy there, after this guy, was Albert Fish. So they tracked him down, they arrested him, and he admitted to everything. So because of this letter, having that watermark on it led to his capture. Almost similar capture that we know BTK when he tried to use a typewriter out of the church and it had that print on it where they captured him. Very similar. But when they captured him, he admitted to everything. And of course, they tried to say insanity. So one of the psychologists said, yeah, he's insane. The other psychologist said he's disturbed but not insane because he kind of knew what he was doing. It wasn't just like sometimes people are insane, it's just all over the place. This seemed more planned for him because he planned that he was going to go get this Edward kid and ended up taking Grace Budd instead. It's almost like, I'm going to do this because I'm planning this. That shows not insanity, because most people that are insane don't really know what they're doing. So that's when you're doing these psychological profiles of people, you really have to understand their MO and how they do things, and if it's erratic, if they don't know what they're doing. But he started saying he was hearing voices, from God telling him to, hurt these kids and torture them and all this other stuff. Of course, everybody's going to blame it on religion or anything like that. He became so obsessed with the story of Abraham and Isaac. So if you know your Bible story, Abraham, he killed, his son to atone for his sins. So Fish in the interview saying that he was killing these kids to atone for his sins. It's like Abraham and Isaac's story. So he kind of used that as a backup for why he was doing things. Not to tend to go back to his childhood coming up and how they studied him as he grew up. But at the time, this is what they knew. So, all these psychologists looked at it, and a lot of them agreed that, yes, the crazy things that he did, but yes, technically he wasn't insane because he knew what he was doing. And that was what got him the electric chair. So, and he got fried in it. That's where our hashtag comes in today.
Oh, where's the that?
Oh, I got it. I don't know.
Ready? Electric chair, hashtag.
I got it.
Fry.
Fish fry. That's it.
There you go.
My goodness. Yeah.
Out of all people to fry this crazy, MF. So there it is. Hashtag fish fry. So, yeah.
Woo.
And just, let's put out their prayers for our buddy Blaine.
I was going to mention that. Yes.
So
we missed
I want to put a thing by the hashtag. In his honor, I want to do the hashtag fish fry. And Blaine, we're all rooting for you. We're all here for you anytime you need us. So
yes, we are.
Anybody send your prayers out for our buddy Blaine. So it's kind of lonely without him on the other box next to us talking and giving us some funny stuff. So, but that one's for you, buddy. So, yeah.
I looked up his biography.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could look at Ted Bundy, you could look at Jeffrey Dahmer. He's a combination of so many, I also saw that he had been assaulting young boys when he was 20 is when he started. And then it went on to embezzlement and grand larceny. Those are the white collar crimes that he did. Yeah. So he was intelligent, even though he was crazy and poor. Yeah. And he did have 6 kids, but they say that he had 2 more because he had extramarital affairs. Of course he had affairs,
Yeah.
Of course. And his Fish was left with the children when his wife decided to run off with another man.
Yeah.
And the youngest of the children were 5 years old. Fish got out of prison. He started experimenting with sexual mutilation and other forms of self-harm. And it goes on about nail-studded paddles and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it does say that the children went on to have normal lives, and several of them were very professional.
Yeah.
Good.
Because I think he had the wherewithal, besides them paddling him at young ages. I don't know how that affected them in a way like afterwards, probably thinking back about it. But yeah, they grew up to be normal, which is, it's just so weird. How everything escalated with him. When something traumatic happened in his life, his wife runs off. Then he starts doing more things. Anytime something traumatic happens in this guy's life, it just escalates. Going to an orphanage, becoming, liking getting beat and watching people be beat. And just every time he meets somebody and something traumatic happens, it escalated. So, we have to be careful when people have that trauma, even if you're going through something, and you have that tendency, if you have something traumatic happened, don't sit on it. It's okay to go get help. Talk it through. We think we could handle everything. No, we can't. We need to get that help for a little while just to know that we're okay and we're working through it where it doesn't create something negative. When you don't heal properly, especially these types of people that go through that type of trauma, that make that thing twist. Those events in their life is what makes those things twist. And, that's really what I think happened with this guy. He's hit with everything, biological, environmental, that's like everything. And
he did have the wherewithal to choose children with disabilities and African-American children because the
that
police
wouldn't be technically missed at that time. There was a lot of areas that were poor, and they're like, oh, my kid ran off, and the police aren't going to go look for him. They're going to say, yeah, whatever,
And
there's a lot of hate back then.
He did get his children to eat raw meat with him.
Yeah. Yeah. He would put it, they probably didn't even know what it was. So.
Yeah. No, Francis McDonald was one of his victims.
Yeah.
And he strangled him with his suspenders.
Yeah.
And he was sexually assaulted and hung up by a tree.
Yeah.
In the boys' Staten Island neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they came and got him down, and but people saw an older man with a gray mustache.
Yeah.
With the child.
That's the gray man they talked about. So.
Yeah.
But part of his leg was stripped. So they're thinking that might have been, part of the cannibalism and all that. He talked about deciding to eat the girl, but I think he was already into that type of thing beforehand. I think it was just a way of, telling this mother that, I decided to eat your daughter. But
maybe she was the first one he fully ate.
Yeah, I think really consumed. I think it was just trying at first, and then,
Well, they did find some of Grace Budd's remains.
Mm-hmm.
And they also was able to take the letter that he wrote to the mom, compare it to other documents that he had written, because he hand wrote them, and then he admitted to it.
Yeah.
Um,
well, the big thing is the mother. There was other stuff sent to her. She knows, like, people taunting her over the years. They had arrested somebody else about it, like that same year that she was killed. It wasn't until a few years later that the letter came from Fish, but the guy was, shown innocent, so he didn't end up going to prison, but that time he was there. But the thing is with the letter, the reason why she knew it was the killer of her daughter was the fact that he mentioned giving them the strawberry dessert, because who would know that?
Yeah.
Only the killer would know that. So, because that's what he gave to the family the day that he visited, to try and have Edward work for him, but then noticed Grace was more of what he was looking at.
So he said before he died, he was in Sing Sing.
Bless you.
He said, bless you, baby, that in Sing Sing at the correctional facility, he was there for 10 months before he was given the electric chair. His 6 adult children did not come visit him. But then he mentioned something about his children to the police. He said, I have children. I've had children in every state. Now, does that mean that he had extramarital affairs in every state and had children like the other 3? Or does that mean that he went to every state and killed children?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a very cryptid thing that he said.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that a kid that was obsessed with killing and sexually assaulting young children to be able, there it is, fish fried. So
it's already catching.
Yeah, give a nice shout out to Raven. She's doing really good, and
yes, that's wonderful.
So, yes, Raven, we're glad you're doing better.
Yeah, and just with him and all those children, for him to be married and have children of his own, like, I don't know, what do you like? Do you like men? Do you like children? Do you like women? This guy was all over the place. I just think he liked everything or something. And he got married again. I don't know if he had any children, but the marriage only lasted a week.
Yeah.
It's like this guy has to have like this weird. There's got to be something weird about him that like people got to notice or something. I don't know what it is. This is just one of those cases that's, definitely the most sadistic person I think in history that I could really think of when you really look at what he did and how he described it. His lawyer had a letter.
I was wondering if you're going to bring
your final words of what you're going to say just before your fish fried, hashtag fish fry. So, and he said it was so graphic and full of swears that he couldn't read it publicly to anybody. So I don't think it was ever read.
So if it's worse than what he wrote to, about Grace, what in the world? I'm trying to find it.
I don't know if my thing is how valuable that letter would be. And
yes,
there's a lot of people that collect these macabre things and all that, but that letter to the point where it was so graphic that couldn't read it, publicly. Of course, at that time, but it's probably not like we have now. There's so much stupid crap songs on the radio that are terrible that you don't know why they're on the radio. And I don't think it'd be hard to read now from what we've got with the information on social media and all these internet and every information you could think of. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to find the letter. I don't even know if it's online, but if anybody could find it, let us know. Send
let
it
us
to
know.
us or something. I'm going to try and find something, but I don't know whatever happened to that one.
His lawyer may have destroyed it if it was, especially back then, that bad. My goodness.
Yeah. So, I don't even know what his last words are. I don't even know what he ate, if he had anything. I don't even know if that was a thing at the time. So, but I'm very disturbed by this. This is one of those things where research this stuff, even back in the day when I was, profiling inmates and finding out what they did and why they did it and interviewing them and just how sick it was. But this guy is sicker than anything I've ever dealt with. It's to the point where I'm I have to say I'm kind of grounded, but this is the thing when you read this stuff and you go to sleep at night, knowing that people are like that out there, it disturbs me. You could have nightmares about that. These are the types of people that give you PTSD when you're trying to track them down. So, yeah.
I'm trying to find where his body is. Where is he buried or something?
Yeah.
They did do an autopsy.
Yeah.
The X-ray showed over 24 needles in his pelvic and groin region.
Yeah.
And he also had severe damage to his digestive tract, where he had swallowed glass.
Oh.
And tissue analysis indicated long-term psychosis and neurological abnormalities in the brain.
Yeah.
The autopsy reportedly noted that Fish's unusual robust physical condition for his age sparked discussions about his physiology impacts with his diet and lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's kind of freaky. Whew.
Now, there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of theories out there. And believe it or not, this afternoon I was talking to Stacia, and we were talking about the case. And when she heard about it, one of the theories that she had, which kind of makes sense, you think about it, most people have a trophy to relive the murder or relive what they did to people.
Oh, yeah.
She thinks that to relive the sexual arousal for some of his murders is why he put the pins inside himself. So when his claim of 100 murders, there's a possibility behind all the needles that he put in himself.
That's smart.
Assault to relive an assault. I'll put the pin in as I'm thinking about it to arouse myself with that pain that I inflicted on them. That's a possibility. So I think it's pretty spot on as we think about people's frame of mind nowadays, how more things have developed, and as we look more at serial killers and all the work that was done by the BCU when they developed in the 70s and all those interviews, that we know a little bit more about the mind frame and the pattern.
It shows here that he poisoned himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Poisoned himself.
He poisoned himself. And that was
what did he not do? I tell you.
Well, he said that electrocution was something he'd never tried, so he was ready for it. Yeah. So, his most heinous it goes on more about child molestation and how they feel that he is.
Again, this guy had every ism.
So
of course electrocution is pretty much final, depending on what you do, unless he hooked himself up to a battery. But that's what some people used to do for torture, especially during Vietnam. How the Viet Cong would torture people by attaching batteries and giving that high electrocution. But of course, back then, I don't think they really had anything crazy like that at the point. So.
Well, interestingly, this case is noted for significantly contributing to the advancement of forensic science.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Figuring out what he did to himself.
Yeah.
And handwriting analysis, behavioral patterns. I was looking at this, and when I started unraveling this part, I'm like, suddenly this got a lot cooler, getting away from his funkiness. God dang. But this case was incredible for learning more about the crime scenes and the suspect himself. They started incorporating more comprehensive psychological assessments after this case.
Yeah.
Because he was able to, they could make points. Hey, he thought all this through. He knew where to put them and how to keep from getting caught and things like that. He meant to do these things, but he was crazy. The truth is, they just wanted him gone. Whether he was able to stand trial or not, he needed not to be here. Nobody wanted him. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But they started saying, we need to start looking at people's mental state.
Yeah, that's the thing. Unfortunately, in our world, something dramatic and crazy like that has to happen for us to push forward to counteract.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, if you think something bad could happen, let's do something about it beforehand, especially with psychological stuff. Let's see our kids and what they're growing up in and getting more involved and hopefully, making sure they don't fall into that pattern. I know you can't be perfect at it. Case in point, our guy last week, Brian Koberger, but there's other things, those environmental things that we can't keep our kids safe from. Case in point with Albert Fish here, the kids that he hung out with. You never know what the kids are influencing you to do. Our kids are getting influenced to do something, but you have to watch of changes in behavior too. That's always an indication of who he's hanging around with or who she's hanging around with too. So we have to look at all that stuff.
Let me throw this out there because if somebody's interested, like you said, in helping us with that letter, Fish's attorney is James Dempsey. He was his lawyer. And the letter that he wrote, I found a quote from Dempsey. He said, "I will never show it to anyone. It was the most filthy string of obscenities I have ever read." And people don't know if it was just if he destroyed it or if he, sealed it away somewhere or whatever. But there is a Albert Fish in his own words, a book by John Borowski. I think it's called Deranged, if I remember right. But Borowski. I'm going to look that up while we've only got a few. Yeah. We don't have any.
I want to put a couple things out there if y'all don't mind. Everybody tuning in. Yeah, thank you, all of you, and please think about Blaine. Send him your hopes and energy and everything you can because he's not well. He's not well. He's going through a lot.
We got a lot of stuff coming up too. Prayers for Blaine.
Yes.
Just anybody that's going through a hard time right now. I'm with you guys, and you guys know what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
We'll push by that because we have to. We got to heal from all that stuff. Big things coming up on the good side. September 5th and 6th, there'll be a ghost hunt that I'm sponsoring as the Shaman and the Showman in Woodbury, Connecticut. We're going to be going to the Glebe House and the Gertrude Jekyll Gardens, and there's a cemetery nearby. We're going to visit all those spots. So go on. You could get your reservations at ctparacon2ns@gmail.com. That way you could get your reservations. There's probably a few left maybe. But on that Saturday, the 6th, during the day, afternoon, into the early evening, we'll be having our fall psychic fair, which I kind of printed down below me.
Yes.
That's right on our website and all that. What you could see, just our psychic fair. On Facebook, we're always advertising. That will be in Derby, Connecticut, at Bad Sons Brewery. So make sure you join us with that. So there's going to be a lot of great psychics there. Case in point, our good friend Stacia will be there helping out with the ghost hunt and the psychic fair. So she'll be there. And I mean, Charles and I always make sure that we have the best to give to our people that come. It's a free event at the psychic fair. Of course, there's a cost for the dinner and us being able to have the place so we could do ghost hunt. So we have to cover that with you guys paying, which is great. And we always appreciate and grateful for everybody that comes. But the psychic fair is free. Come in, have a beer, maybe refocus your life if you have questions. Got some of the best in the country that always come to our psychic fairs. And they're great, and everybody always loves it. And it's always a big thing. It's always a big turnout, and we always appreciate that. So.
What you got, Lee?
Well, there is a book called Deranged, and it's the shocking truth of America's most fiendish killer, and it is by Harold Schechter. I don't see John Borowski. Maybe that person that had posted that was wrong, but this is it.
Yeah.
And maybe next week I can find the letter. wow, maybe I don't need to find the dang letter, but it's
I
pretty
think we do.
intense. The whole thing's been intense. It's been the most intense. I think this is topped them all.
Yeah.
Sickness has topped them all.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable with this one today. I think the other one where a lot of supernatural stuff happened is when we talked about the Oklahoma City bombing. It seemed
Yeah.
like a lot of the spirits that died in that tragedy wanted to come and get their message out, and we were feeling it that day,
Mhm.
and we were all talking about it afterwards. So when we do these shows, you never know what's going to happen. There is a supernatural part to it as we talk about it.
Yes,
But
it is.
yeah, anytime there's something traumatic like that, there seems to be a supernatural or paranormal thing happening afterwards. So, which, of course, again, you could read all about that crossover with Echoes of Violence by our friends Danny and Lauren, of course.
Yep.
So
Well, I do want to throw out the supernatural part.
Yeah.
With Fish,
Yeah.
he claimed he was compelled by voices or urges that he could not control.
Yeah.
And some psychologists say that this may have been, like his family, schizophrenia
Yeah.
and that type, but his fascination with torture, pain, and the occult
hmm
may mean that he was possessed.
there's the possibility, it's so hard to know if somebody's possessed or not. When you have psychological history like that, there comes a point that there's so much trauma happens to you, you disassociate, which could show symptoms of looking like you're possessed. That's where a lot of priests in the past have made, issues where they've discerned the wrong way. Case in point, there was the girl out in Germany that ended up being malnourished and dying because of all that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, I think her name was Annalise and all that.
Annalise and Kel, yeah.
Yeah, which unfortunately, it bothers me because my oldest daughter's name is Annalise. And
I know, I love that name, but every
Yeah.
time I hear it,
well, it's
okay.
weird. I never knew the story really when I was younger. And the last time I saw Lorraine Warren, I was still married. It was, I think, 98 because my oldest daughter was born in 99. I went to go see Lorraine talk at a college with Ed. And, Lorraine's like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you. We talked and all that. And she saw, of course, she picked up that, my wife at the time was pregnant. And they said, oh, do you have a name yet? And I told Annalise, and she like gasped. And then I was like, what do you get? And she told me the story of Annalise McKell and all that. I never knew. And then me going down the rabbit hole, I had to look into it. But by that time I was like, that's pretty much going to be the name. It's the two grandmothers together, Anne and Alice, who made Annalise out of it. So, it's like, I wanted to keep it, but yeah, good thing my daughter is healthy and doesn't run into
There's
anything
other
like
people
that.
named that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that hit home. Yeah.
But now,
Yeah,
but here's the thing, Annalise actually was an incredible person.
Mm-hmm.
She actually took on the form of the stigmata because she
Yeah.
said that if her case showed people that evil existed, then that means that God must exist.
Yeah.
And because of that, it was self-sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's an incredible, incredible soul
Yeah.
of what she endured and how she was still able to maintain that whenever she was really herself.
Well, it's good that she got away from the trauma of it. Her upbringing was so religious based, and it was almost like she was abused with religion.
Yes, she was.
And I
Well, her
think
whole family was like that.
Yeah.
So.
But she rose above it. So she decided to break that chain, but unfortunately, it took her down. It's almost like she was a martyr for it. So, and for a lot of people.
Do you guys hear my dog snoring?
Was that
I
Luna?
can't, but I got an AC unit behind me.
Well,
Yeah,
I just wondered because she's snoring like a chainsaw, and I thought,
Nice.
God, this is funny.
That's awesome.
You guys, if I mind if I shamelessly mention something?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Albert put Luna to sleep.
Yeah, and he's making me go, ooh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Luna was like, I'll just pee on him.
Yeah, she probably would. Or throw up. Yeah.
Throw up on them. Yeah.
She would. So
Yeah.
you guys know I'm on a little journey, and it is expensive to travel. So, and we're on a walkabout. It is. And we are selling T-shirts through a website, and I'm going to show you what they look like.
Yeah, they look pretty badass.
I want one. I've got to get one. So you'll have to tell us how to do that.
Yep. And that actually looks like us. So that was kind of strange that I came up with it. And
isn't it cool?
Yeah.
It even looks like my hair, which is what I've gotten from many people.
Itty bitty Gwen and big giant Rez. So
yeah. So, but you guys, you know, if you know anybody in Kentucky or anybody in between Kentucky, South Carolina, anywhere, that would like us to come hang out, investigate, you know, just maybe they have some leads on something. Let us know. Please let us know.
You're gonna head out into the caves of Hellier, Kentucky. So.
Well, yeah, we are. We are going to the caves tomorrow, and we're also got some leads. Believe it or not, we went to the couple of stores we had to go to, and everywhere we went, we found more leads. So we are probably going to be here for a couple of days. Just, you know, we're in a hotel tonight. But tomorrow we're going to be camping again. So, yeah. But we're going to be out there and doing as much investigation as we can. So please, 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 if you know any leads, anything, any groups,
Hellier is great because great documentary, won some awards for the Newkirks and all that. Their traveling museum of the crazy haunted objects too. But you know, I've met them a few times. They're great people, very, very intelligent, and I think their documentary really hit me hard because it was different, not like anything out there. So if anybody gets a chance, Hellier 1 and 2, check it out.
We're
how you look at things. So.
Yeah, we're actually at Carter Caves. It's a state resort park, and it's great. So we were really shocked. I was drawn to look. I don't know. I just found it, and I was drawn to it. So here we are. If anybody knows anything, contact us. If you don't know how to contact us for some reason, add us. Thomas,
Lee, contact me for God's sake. You know, search my name. If anybody
you cannot miss it.
Can't miss it. Yeah. Also, I want to say that, you know, Tom is the leader of a wonderful group called Leitreanna.
Yes.
And Leitreanna is a program for people. It's a referral type thing.
Yeah.
Where if I feel like I need counseling, if I feel like I need healing, you know, I've had a headache for 3 weeks, something's wrong, I've been to the doctor, can't figure it out, I could contact Thomas, he can refer. Now the website's being built and it's complicated, so just give us a second to get that done. Gwen and I are also members, but Tom Wormley is, you know, the brain behind all of this, and we would like to thank John Zappis for his leadership and guidance as we build this wonderful program. So everyone, please consider what you may need from someone like us. You know, what do you need? Do you want to speak with someone that's passed, and you feel like it would be better if you spoke to someone privately, and you don't want to call Madam whatever on an 800-900 number or whatever? You want somebody to look at you like eyeball to eyeball, like what we are now. You know, that is something that the Leitreanna team can help you with. I know that Leitreanna has had several hours of healing time with John, and he was very touched emotionally by the care and the love that we showed him, all of us. So please, you know, consider getting in touch, and you know, be looking for more about it. And I also want to say, you know, Gwen and I had the opportunity to be on the cover of Paranormal Underground. Yes, we look like we're up to something because we generally are.
Well, because you guys are. You always are. So.
Always. And
well,
also
tell them what Matt said about that picture. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he looks like, oh gosh, he's got to go get the bail money.
Yeah.
We were also featured in Housewife magazine.
There you go. I love that
here
picture.
We are.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
There's me and Gwen there. But I wanted to let you guys know that Ghost Buzz magazine is going to be featuring Tom and Stacia.
Yeah.
And so please be watching for Janet Ramsey's When she puts it out there, she's going to tag a couple of people, grab it and hashtag it and send it out to different groups because
like
we are very grateful for that. Leitreanna has been in the works for 20 years. Stacia has put together a program, and I'm just making sure everybody sticks together. We're all working as a team to help people, whether it be a paranormal issue, whether it be, metaphysical, or, it's to the point where we had people that are hearing voices. Come to find out they have a vitamin D deficiency. So you don't have to put them on all these psychiatric meds. You find out what the real problem is, something more holistic. That's the biggest thing that we're forgetting nowadays. Let's treat the problem instead of just throwing a pill at it or anything like that. Let's work through the trauma, just like we talk about on Serial Killer Supernatural, why the mind does what it does, what we could do to help people, whether it's through paranormal issues. Most paranormal issues are caused by our own trauma. We manifest it. When you take the trauma away, the paranormal goes away. So that's what it is. So we want to help everybody.
Jeff Rosnovsky is our official photographer for All Access Network Television, Family Spirit Supernatural, for me and Gwen and Matt. And Jeff, we need to see you, brother. We got more stuff we need. And we have
I wish he was with us now. I tell you, all the stuff. My goodness.
Can he make me look good in a picture?
Honey, yes, he can do it. He can do it. Yeah. I'm so proud of him. And the paranormal pictures that he got. His location was outstanding. I do have to say you this. We have a logo for our LLC. It's Family Spirit Supernatural.
Oh, nice. That's beautiful.
Thank you. So, we're growing and becoming something, we're taking this time as we're getting back, schools back in, things like that. We're headed to our spooky season. This is coming up Labor Day weekend. So, those of you that have ghost hunts and you've got all these wonderful things happening that are part of what we love to do, please send us that information, and we'll support you as best we can. I do have some information about our haunted object lab coming up. That's fascinating. We've got our data back in, and I've got some interesting parallels to show. So maybe we can pull together the three of us and do a Family Spirit International show and talk about some of the data. And we've got some fun things coming up at the end of the year. We'll be going to Salem Con.
There you go.
Yes, and
Salem
seeing somebody
Paranormal and Horror Fest. Yeah. We might. We actually have one of the gentlemen that played Jason from Friday the 13th, and he was also in the TV show Stranger Things. He's one of our main horror guests, and of course.
And he's a favorite friend. Yes.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
He's a big man too.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. I've got a picture with him, and he's on the mask and like the suit, and we were in air conditioning, but you saw him dressed like that. Sweat was pouring, and he was telling me how he has to maintain a physical fitness regimen to be able to wear just a suit. I mean, I can see, like Swamp Thing or somebody like that in a suit. Even The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. I mean, I get that, but you don't realize that big chest piece and this mask that he has a mask on and then the other mask.
Yes.
So that's a lot. And thank you, Steve, for watching. And he's got family that watches overseas. It means a lot. Thank you, Steve. You're the best. I still got and I got your cup too. Yes.
Should throw them in the car and take them to Salem, and we take all kinds of crazy pictures.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
I wish he was with us now on this because he could take pictures that we can't get because we're doing stuff, and it's.
Well, I turned around and the man's down on the ground and peeking up in between.
Yeah, flipping over and hanging
and
from
the
stuff.
Pictures. Climbing up and 2 stories up, and I'm like, wow, he's just that committed to getting the shot, and it's incredible.
That's awesome.
Now, tell us, how can we get these shirts, Gwen?
I am going to have to put it on the website because I do not have it. Hang on just a minute. Oh, shit. Sorry. I cussed.
Don't fall.
Well, this chair in the hotel is just going to flip me out. Hold on.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I was trying to get the website.
Gwen gets to sleep in a comfy bed tonight. She's been camping out, and
I'm spoiled.
Places for the last almost month
where they could get the t-shirts because I can't remember the website. Come on, here you go. You're.
I see an elbow.
Don't knock heads. Don't knock heads.
My slate off the top. It's off of Printify.
There's Rez.
All right, listen. Wait a minute.
Yes, hey Rez.
Start over.
Hello. You can get t-shirts for
two eyes.
Printified from my Resneck Ink store.
So go to Resneck Ink and it's.
You go to Printify first, and then Resneck Ink. I do have the link up on my page. Every time I drop a new.
Drop a comment. Drop a comment and I'll post it up. But anyway, yes, look on our websites, and if you could support us, even that little bit that we get from that is a lot.
It helps.
It does.
Every little bit helps, guys.
Well, I got to get one. I mean, I got this one.
Yep.
On the Horizons. I should have gotten that before you guys left, but I didn't see it till last weekend.
Yeah.
Please support my friends here. He's going to drop that link in the comments. Gwen's going to pop it up there. Help him out.
Can you
show him the love? Yep.
He's working on it. I've had to swap the internet from our little T-Mobile box to the hotel and back a couple times.
We still need a t-shirt for this show with the hashtag Leg of Joe. So.
Yeah,
we got to do that.
I really would like to do a Leg of Joe t-shirt just to support Blaine. You know, I think that'd probably be important too. So
we could set that up on this same website.
That would probably be
good. It's a store actually.
Yeah, that would be
He's
important.
trying.
Yeah. I know. We're all rooting for him.
Yes, we are.
And eventually, when I do get down south, we are going to Alabama to see him.
Yes.
So it has some souvenirs and stuff for him, sort of kind of thing, and just love. Yeah. Trying to give him some love. And
Love's a big thing, you know, with our group and our little bubble of all of us and all of us talking to each other all the time. And so people know out there, we're a very close group. We talk outside of these shows and all that, and it's important, you know, especially in the paranormal industry. It's hard to find people that you trust and work hard with and all that, and we appreciate that. We just hope other people see that with their groups too, and just so we can all get forward with everything. So
people want to get funky with each other, and they're missing the whole point.
Yeah.
If you have to deal with negative entities, you're going to be each other's throats because you're stronger together.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
any fear or the unknown, love's stronger than any of that. That's how you get rid of it. So,
Hold on, he's trying to adjust. He was out on the balcony watching the show. So.
Cool.
Did you send it? Okay, there we go. Okay, guys.
All right, here we got it. Okay, there you go.
The t-shirts are very cool. I'm gonna pop it up one more time and show you. But all this goes, whatever they don't take. Of course, we had to do it through a store type thing. But whatever they don't take, this is what the actual one looks like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that does look like us so much. It's really bizarre.
It's really cute. Yeah. It is really cute.
How tall are you, Gwen? 4'2"?
Right.
Oh, I would throw you a bird if it wasn't on TV. I am actually 5'4". You had it reversed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So no stool to get the can of beans off the.
At Lee's house, yes. Yes, actually, yes. At Lee's house, I have to have a step ladder to get.
Yeah. Well, Lee and Matt are pretty tall, so.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Look at her, she's smiling. She knows it's true. How many times have I said?
I've seen her up on her little tippy toes. It's like, oh no, wait a minute.
That's when you got to grab your hand. You need a boost.
Yeah, that's what. See, I put it up. He want. Yeah. Anyway, one more time.
Yeah.
That's what it looks. Well, basically what it looks like. I think it doesn't have the new, but that's the picture I have, and it is very, very close.
I love it.
Multiple different colors.
Yes, there are different colors. I personally, when I get mine, I'm going to get black, but that's me, and that's him.
Yeah.
So
that's the paranormal. Everything's got to be black.
Well, we try to do stuff different, but honestly, yeah.
Look, these are 4'2" and heels. Thank you, Jeff.
Jeff, I was just bragging on you. Why are you giving me that?
I'm joining in on the fun.
He would have been great to have here. Yeah.
If nobody's making fun of you in a group, that means nobody likes you.
That's it.
So it's good to get made fun of, tongue in cheek.
They give me crap all the time.
Yeah. So
Well,
that means
I'm
you got a
gonna
lot of
throw
love
this
there.
up.
Then.
Well, you guys,
I got one more picture to show, and we'll
Good.
end the show, okay? Especially since you've been on the reservation and Rez is with you. This is wait, I got to get this down because I can't see it. Can you pull that down? How do I pull that
can I
down?
pull? Yeah, you just click on it again. Just click
What
on
am I
it.
doing?
Hold on. I can do it. You just.
I
have
got
to
it.
click
I
on
got it.
There we
Okay.
go.
That
Did you
is
get it?
not what I
Oh,
wanted to show. That
don't
crazy
put that one
man's
on.
letter.
We don't need the. Yeah, there
Okay.
you
There we go.
It
no,
did it
go
again.
back.
It's doing it on
There
its
you go.
own. It was doing it on its own. My hand's right here.
Albert Fish is haunting us. So.
All right.
We don't need that.
Hands away.
Crazy thing. All right. I'm going to turn the other one off too. There. O great spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds and whose breath gives us life to all the world, hear me. We need your strength and your wisdom. Let us walk in beauty and make our eyes ever hold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things that you have made and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make us wise so that we can understand the things that you have taught our people. Let us learn the lessons you've hidden in every rock and every leaf. Help us remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes towards us. Help us find compassion without empathy overwhelming me. I seek strength not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades, as the fading sunset, my spirit comes to you without shame. Translated by Lakota Sioux Chief Yellow Lark.
Oh.
Thank you, Aho. Thank you guys for listening and watching Serial Killers, Supernatural, and Murderers with my favorite people right here on the show. Minus Blaine. We love you, Blaine. We are always in our thoughts and prayers. Always. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.